Cindy James, the 7 years. A woman is found dead. Canada, June 1989. In a front yard, Vancouver. She's lying in the grass, hands tied behind her back. A black stocking around her neck, cuts on her arms, bruises on her body. She's been dead for 2 weeks. Her name is Cindy James. For 7 years before she died, she was stalked, harassed, attacked. Over 100 incidents, phone calls, threatening notes, break-ins, physical assaults. She reported everything to police, but they could never find who was doing it. Some investigators thought she was doing it to herself. Now she's dead, and no one knows if she was murdered or if she staged her own death. The drive begins another night, another mile, another case that never closed. Tonight, Cindy James, Vancouver, Canada, 1982 to 1989. 7 years of terror, phone calls in the night, threatening messages, her car vandalized, her home broken into. She was found unconscious, tied up, beaten multiple times. Police investigated for years, but they never found who was doing it. Then Cindy died, under suspicious circumstances. Was it murder or something else? This is what we know. The timeline: Cindy James is living in Richmond, British Columbia, a suburb of Vancouver. She's 44 years old, works as a nurse at a psychiatric hospital. She's recently divorced from Dr. Roy Makepeace, a psychiatrist. They'd been married for 16 years. The divorce was amicable, or so it seemed. Cindy lives alone, in a house, quiet neighborhood. She has a dog, a large black dog, for protection. One night, in October 1982, Cindy receives a phone call, late, after midnight. A man's voice, threatening, "I'm going to get you." She hangs up, frightened. The calls continue. Night after night, always the same voice, always threatening. Cindy changes her number, unlisted. The calls continue. How does he keep getting her number? She reports it to police. Royal Canadian Mounted Police, Richmond Detachment. They take a report, but there's not much they can do. No caller ID in 1982, no way to trace. Then the incidents escalate. November 1982, Cindy's home is broken into. Nothing stolen, but things are moved, disturbed. A message is left on the wall in red marker. "You're dead." Cindy calls police. They investigate. No signs of forced entry. The locks weren't broken. Whoever got in had a key or picked the lock. December 1982, Cindy is attacked. In her garage, she comes home from work, parks her car, gets out. Someone grabs her from behind, puts a knife to her throat. She screams. The attacker runs. She calls police. They search the area. No one is found. Cindy is terrified. She starts taking precautions, changes her locks, installs security lights, carries pepper spray, but the harassment continues. Phone calls, notes left on her car. "I'm watching you. You can't hide." January 1983, Cindy hires a private investigator, Ozzy Caban, a former RCMP officer. She pays him to watch her house, to investigate, to find out who's doing this. Ozzy starts surveillance. He watches Cindy's house for weeks. He sees nothing, no one approaching, no suspicious activity. But the incidents continue, even when Ozzy is watching. February 1983, Cindy is found unconscious in her basement by a friend who came to check on her. She's tied up, hands behind her back, a stocking around her neck, but not tight enough to kill, just to scare. She's taken to the hospital. She wakes up, says she doesn't remember what happened. She was home, then nothing. Blackout. Police investigate. Again, they find no signs of forced entry, no evidence of an intruder. They're starting to wonder, is Cindy doing this to herself? Over the next 6 years, the incidents continue. Over 100 documented cases, phone calls, threatening letters, attacks. Cindy is found, tied up, unconscious. Multiple times, her car is vandalized, tires slashed, windows broken, messages painted. Her dog is killed, poisoned. Cindy is devastated. She gets another dog, bigger, more protective, but the attacks don't stop. May 1989, Cindy disappears. She was supposed to meet a friend, didn't show up. The friend goes to her house. Cindy's car is there, her purse, her keys, but no Cindy. The friend calls police. They search. June 8, 1989. 2 weeks later, a body is found in a yard 6 miles from Cindy's house. Abandoned property, residential neighborhood. A woman lying in the grass. She's been there for days, maybe weeks, decomposing, hands tied behind her back, with a man's black stocking, another stocking around her neck, like a noose, needle marks on her arms, injection sites, cuts and bruises. She's fully clothed. No signs of sexual assault. Police identify her, Cindy James. Finally, after 7 years, she's dead. The investigation. Vancouver police investigate Cindy's death. The medical examiner performs an autopsy. Cause of death, drug overdose, morphine, and other sedatives, injected. The injection sites, on her arms, multiple, recent. But here's the problem. Cindy's hands were tied behind her back. How could she inject herself if her hands were tied? Unless she injected herself first, then tied her own hands. But why? And the stocking around her neck. It was there, but not tight. Not the cause of death, more like staging. Police investigate Cindy's background, looking for enemies, suspects. Her ex-husband, Dr. Roy Makepeace. He was investigated multiple times. Over the 7 years, Cindy suspected him, told police he was stalking her, harassing her. Roy denied it. Always he had alibis. For many of the incidents, he was at work, with patients, documented. Police could never connect him. They investigated Cindy's colleagues at the psychiatric hospital. Anyone with a grudge, anyone capable. No one stood out. They investigated her friends, her private investigator, Ozzy Caban. He'd been watching her for years. Could he have been involved? No evidence. Ozzy was devastated. He'd tried to protect her, failed. Police reviewed all 100+ incidents, looking for patterns, clues. They found something troubling. Many incidents had no evidence of an intruder, no forced entry, no witnesses, no forensic evidence, just Cindy's word, and the injuries, self-inflicted. Possibly, Cindy was a nurse. She'd know how to tie herself up, inject herself, stage attacks. But why? Police theorized. Mental illness, Munchausen syndrome, a disorder where people fake illness or injury for attention. Cindy worked in psychiatry. She'd know about it. Could she have been doing this to herself for 7 years? Her friends said no. Impossible. Cindy was terrified. Genuinely, this wasn't an act. But police had doubts. The final incident, her death, was it staged? Did Cindy intend to survive? Make it look like another attack, but miscalculated. took too much morphine, died accidentally, or was it suicide, staged to look like murder, to finally prove someone was after her? Or was she actually murdered by someone who'd been tormenting her for 7 years, and finally killed her? Police couldn't decide. The coroner's inquest ruled her death unknown, not suicide, not murder, not accident, unknown. The detail that doesn't fit, and this is where the story gets strange. 7 years, over 100 incidents, phone calls, attacks, break-ins, and police never found who was doing it. Not once, no arrests, no suspects, no evidence. How is that possible? If someone was stalking Cindy for 7 years, they'd make mistakes, leave evidence, be seen, but nothing, ever. And the incidents themselves, they were elaborate. Cindy found tied up in her basement, in her car, in an abandoned house, but never seriously hurt. Always found before real harm, as if she wanted to be found, wanted attention. But her friends, her family, they saw the fear, real fear. Cindy was terrified. She moved houses multiple times, changed jobs, spent thousands on security, on investigators. If she was faking it, why go to such lengths? And there were witnesses, sort of, people who heard things, saw things, but never the attacker. A friend heard Cindy scream over the phone. Then the line went dead. She called police. They found Cindy tied up, but no intruder. A neighbor saw someone in Cindy's yard late at night, but couldn't describe them. Too dark, too far. It's frustrating, maddening. Every incident, just enough to seem real, but not enough to prove anything. And Cindy's death, the final incident, hands tied behind her back, drug overdose. How? If her hands were tied, she couldn't inject herself, so someone else did. But who? No one saw her for 2 weeks, between disappearance and discovery. Where was she? Who was she with? Was she held captive for 2 weeks, then killed? Or did she hide herself for 2 weeks, then stage her own death? But why? Cindy James was stalked for 7 years, or said she was. Over 100 incidents. Police investigated, found nothing. Then she died. Tied up, overdosed. 37 years later, no one knows if she was murdered, or if she did it to herself. Theories. Theory 1. Cindy was murdered by her ex-husband, Dr. Roy Makepeace. He stalked her for 7 years, harassed her, finally killed her. He was smart, careful, left no evidence, had alibis, but he did it. This explains the 7 years, the consistency, the fear. But police investigated him thoroughly. No evidence, ever, and he's never been charged. Theory 2. Cindy was murdered by someone else, a patient from the psychiatric hospital, someone obsessed. They fixated on Cindy, stalked her for years, finally killed her. This explains the randomness, the lack of motive, but no patient was ever identified or connected. Theory 3. Cindy had mental illness. She did this to herself, all of it. The calls, the attacks, the final death. She wanted attention, sympathy, validation. She went too far, accidentally killed herself. This explains the lack of evidence, the lack of suspects, but it doesn't explain the consistency. 7 years, or the witnesses who saw and heard things. Theory 4. Cindy was murdered, but the killer was never suspected. A stranger, random, who became obsessed, followed her for years, stayed hidden, then killed her. This explains the mystery, but seems unlikely. For 7 years, with no trace. Theory 5. It's a mix. Cindy did some incidents to herself for attention because of mental illness, but someone else, real, was also stalking her, taking advantage of her situation, finally killed her. This explains both sides, the lack of evidence and the genuine fear, but it's complicated, hard to prove. Every theory is possible, none are proven. The dead end after Cindy died. The inquest lasted months. Witnesses testified, friends, family, police officers. The private investigator, Ozzy Caban, he testified he'd watched Cindy for years. He believed someone was after her, but he never saw them. Roy Makepeace testified, Cindy's ex-husband. He denied involvement, always, said Cindy was troubled, mentally ill, making it up. The jury deliberated for days. They couldn't decide. Murder, suicide, accident, unknown. They ruled unknown. Cindy's family was devastated. No justice, no closure, no answers, just unknown. In 1991, a book was published, Who Killed Cindy James, by investigative journalists. It examined the case, presented theories, but no conclusions. In 1998, the case was featured on Unsolved Mysteries, national coverage. Tips came in, none led anywhere. In 2008, the RCMP reviewed the case. Cold Case Unit, new eyes, new technology, still no new evidence, no suspects, no resolution. Roy Makepeace died in 2008. He was never charged, always maintained innocence. Cindy's friends still believe she was murdered, that someone got away with it, but police still suspect she did it to herself. Where IT stands today, as of 2026, Cindy James' death remains unsolved. Officially, unknown causes. Not murder, not suicide, just unknown. It's been 37 years since she died. Vancouver has changed. The house where she lived, still there. Different owners. They know the history. Some say it's haunted. Cindy's ghost, still afraid, still hiding. Urban legend now. The case is still debated. Online, true crime forums, Reddit, YouTube, people analyze the incidents, the evidence, the theories. Some believe murder, some believe mental illness. No consensus. In 2023, a podcast covered the case in depth. 10 episodes. Interviewed people who knew Cindy, who investigated. Still, no answers. The case is technically open, but no active investigation. No new leads, just speculation. If you have information about Cindy James' death, contact Vancouver Police Department, 604-717-3321. The final lingering question, the road keeps going. The rain still falls. In Vancouver, a woman was stalked for 7 years, or said she was. Over 100 incidents, attacks, threats, fear. Then she was found dead, tied up, overdosed. 37 years later, no one knows. Was Cindy James murdered, or did she stage her own death? If you know something about this case, the comments are open. If you want more roads like this, I'll keep driving.